welcome to the final episode of After the After Hours with your boy TraderPrad. The final day of this week. Is tomorrow going to be a free fall Friday? Now get ready for tomorrow. Powell going on the microphone. Powell going on the microphone again. Get ready for tomorrow. So I do have a watch list ready, but if you guys are ready, hit that like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you guys for all the love. Thank you guys for all the support. This is your boy TraderPrad. To get started, why don't we dive into the full screen and hit that like and subscribe. And I'm not muted, or I'm not unmuted. So let me unmute myself. Let me turn the music down and then talk about what I'm saying. I was saying, why is it so dark? The image is so dark today because I didn't mess with the camera settings, but I'm not gonna mess with the camera settings today because I kind of like this dark theme I have in the background. And then, you know, I'm just kind of fading off in the darkness. Whoa, fading off in the darkness. Woo! But yeah, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get started. Today is Wednesday, February 4th. Market. To be honest, I did not watch the QQQ and the S&P 500 at all today, which is crazy. You know, actually wild that I even said that out loud. I probably should not have said that out loud at all and kept that to myself. But I'm looking at the market. Let's see where the market did. Okay, no, I do remember seeing the market go up. Why would I say things like that? I do remember seeing the market go up. I remember seeing how strong the market was. But I feel like I didn't because I was so busy coding and making indicators on TradingView. Doing a little bit of back testing and creating scanners, because my scanners that I previously created for some of my setups are not really giving me the setups that I want. They're kind of getting close enough, but they weren't giving me the setups I want, so I had to tweak them a little bit. So for the most part today was working on that. So second half of the day, after I got beat up off the open, second half of the day I was just working on code, but managed to find some trades eventually to scrape a nice green day for myself. So nice green day. Let's talk about some of the movers today. AMD did not go to 113 as I wanted it to, but AMD did give you a nice long today. Google, wow, big move to the downside on Google on its earnings report. Who else moved around? Snapchat. If you guys remember me talking about Snapchat yesterday, how Snapchat usually goes down on its earnings report, but yesterday was something different. But looks like today is back to status quo. Is that how they say it? Status quo? Anyways, back to regular schedule for Snapchat because it also gets pummeled to the downside. So that was a big short if you were watching for that one. But yeah, there was good trades today. There was a lot of good trade opportunities on the market if you were watching for it. If you were hunting and being a sniper, you would have found it. For my trades, let's get to the full screen and talk about my trades on the day, and then we'll get ready for all the party that we might have tomorrow, talking about the stocks that are reporting and all other fun stuff. So let's go to my profile really quick. Ooh, let's go. Look at that. You guys gotta love this banner, right? The TraderPrad, but it's like the P-Hub banner. You gotta love that. All right. Ignore the PNL. Yes, today was a little bit of a crazy day. Ignoring the PNL, right? Plus 22R. Nice. Green day. But ignoring that, pretty shit day today. probably, you know, shouldn't be saying this, but that's how I felt. So I said what I felt. Okay, period. MRK. So let's talk about some of the trades. MRK, my only like winner that I'm showing on the day for you guys. The other stocks that I made money on, I'm not showing those winners. Some things need to be kept quiet, right? Some things need to be kept quiet. Other setups I'm okay talking about, but most things I'm okay talking about. Some things need to be kept quiet. But the ones I'm showing you, you're not gonna enjoy looking at these. I'm not gonna enjoy talking about these. 9 EMA VWAP cross on MRK. Yeah, VWAP's down over here on this stupid platform, but 9 EMA VWAP on if you're looking at it from the pre-market and so on, it's right around this area here where the stock is finding resistance around, and then it flips back over VWAP. So I get long on that flip back over VWAP. It also matches with the nice even dollar area. I think it's 89 even dollar area. You got a bunch of resistance. You're getting a higher low, higher high, especially after that reject. You're getting a higher low. Usually after a reject like this, stocks will probably go back to the low a day and then double bottom and then start flying higher. But in this case, it made a higher low, and then you can see how the sellers in this area were quick to get out of their positions. I shouldn't say quick, but the sellers in this area were like, okay, you know what, there's buyers, and the buyers are actually moving up their price. They were okay with buying 88, now they're okay with buying 88.50. Next they're gonna be okay with buying 89. So the sellers over here clearly walking away from the stock, the imbalance changing from the sell to the buy side, and the stock clearly going to the upside, only ending 0.26 down on the day today. A nice day 2 reversal on MRK. In fact, we were looking for MRK as a short from $91 last night. That was a setup that I was talking about, a potential trade opportunity. So let's go see how MRK traded off that $91 area. Looks like it actually got slammed back into the close, right back into earnings VWAP. Notice how earnings VWAP, or yesterday's VWAP, and today's VWAP are exactly the same price. So yesterday's price is as equal to today's price. Wow, look at that bounce too, right around the double bottom yesterday, not even having to go all the way back into lower day. So I didn't even notice that. That just makes it even better of a reason to look for that long over there. So now you just add reasons, pile on reasons as to why this trade is so good to take that long back through this 89 breakout. You get not only a 1R, or sorry, not only do you get a 3R winner based on the 9 EMA setup, not only do you get a 3R winner, you actually end up with a much bigger winner if you have managed to hold it all the way to the upside. However, you know, I just took that simple out of one measured move from the lower day to the VWAP, and that happened to be around 70 cents or 80 cents higher than my entry. So I took that profit and I said thank you, and I walked away from that trade. So nice little winner for me. Google, this was potentially another stock to do the exact same thing as MRK. If you look at Google on the big chart with the better chart, I actually have a trend line drawn on Google. But why did I short it here? I don't know. I'm a goddamn idiot. I don't know what to say, right? You know, I have everything. I know exactly what to do. I'm you know, thinking about doing it, which is that long for the 9 EMA flip, but what do I do instead? I go short because I'm an idiot. I go short instead, and I take a loss on that. So it is what it is. Take a nice little quick little scalp loss. Is that even how you say it? Take a quick little loss on that little position because I'm an absolute moron. But managing to keep that loss small because originally I intended to go long. You can see how I drew this trend line, and I only wanted to go short if the stock rejected from VWAP and broke this trend line to look for a move into 187. It didn't do that, and nor did the stock break the 2-minute low. I guess it did break the 2-minute low, and that's kind of the reason why I got short. But you know, didn't really break the trend line. Higher low, higher low, higher high, higher high, going into VWAP, a little bit of a volume rise going through VWAP this time, and that's exactly kind of what you want to see too, as the stock is decreasing volume as it's going away from VWAP, but actually not decreasing volume. But if you look at how from the open into the downside, the volume's kind of going lower, and over here in this area, the volume starts to spike up again as it starts going back into VWAP. So these are all things that SMB Capital puts in their notes that you just have to read. Everything's on the internet. It's absolutely free, right? So go read those notes if you're interested in the very same setup. I even drew the goddamn trend line, but yet I took the short before it even set up. I guess you could have taken it here or on that pop and then got a nice little scalp to the downside. That's 190. That's 190, 130. Is that 190? That's 190, 80. That's 190, 130. And your stop is basically above 192, let's say, and you get a move down to 189.50. So not bad. Probably a shit trade. Probably not even worth it. If it's set up over here, probably a way better trade. But yeah, I took a short. I don't know why. Don't ask me. Microsoft, no setup here at all. Kind of just tape reading this, honestly, if you ask me. Yeah, you can say the 9 EMA VWAP crossed. Well, this indicator is actually wrong, so let me turn off my indicator. Oh, actually, maybe we don't want to turn it off, but we want the labels off. Yes, turn off the labels. So technically 9 EMA crossed over here at 9:54. You're supposed to do this after 10 o'clock, but you know, I think you could have taken that short there if you ask me, for a quick little scalp, and it actually gives you a quick little scalp. But later on, right around this area, you can see how 411.50 the stock pops from last month's low, goes into 411.50 area, rejects, pops back into 411, and rejects again. So on that second reject, especially after that violent 1 minute pop candle that is matched with the equally violent 1 minute red candle, I'm thinking, hold up, there's a violent seller here and they want to really bully the buyers, potentially take the stock back into yesterday's low, and then break below yesterday's low would obviously take the stock down under a little bit of a significant area, in my opinion. But nah, no dice, no rice. Sadly, I guess you could say, you know, it's a really choppy low in this area, because every low does go lower. But even then, this is a higher low, higher high on the daily chart. But you can see how the lows are kind of choppy until it really gets below 400, let's say. So yeah, kind of forced my idea on this one. No setup at all technically. There was a little bit of a seller here, and you can see that with the violent back move to the south side. But yeah, no pattern over here to really short. So just stupidity. Just stupidity. Palantir, my manager said he liked that low a day break, especially after how Palantir kept kind of going into the 100, or is it 99.75, 99.80, kept going into 99.80, but every bounce it was a lower high on the 1 minute chart. So he said he liked it. I was like, okay, if you like it, good enough for me, I'll take it. Got burnt. That one lost immediately. WGS short report comes out, low liquidity. Stock actually goes in the money for me. I'm like $1 in the money. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a big trade, right? I start seeing dollar signs in the air. Ding, 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 ding. I'm in a casino. All the sounds of a casino registers are now ringing in my ear, because I finally caught a short report trade. You know, I've always seen these stocks move in a crazy fashion, but I've never caught one before. So I was like, oh, let's go. I'm going to finally catch a big short report trade over here. Yeah, it didn't work out that way at all. Low liquidity. Stock pops back and forth. The spread is like 50 cents and randomly opens up to $1. So I'm like, yeah, you know what? Screw this. I'm going to put the stop at $71 and move on from this. Either it works or it doesn't, because this is crazy. I'm not dealing with the spread on this stock. So walked away from it. The stock triggered my stop. After my stop triggered, I said, I don't even want to look at this name. And I guess that was a little bit of a mistake, because later on the volume starts to pick up on this name and it gets pushed back and forth a little bit. You can see how, you know, volume spikes we go lower, capitulates, we pop back, another volume spike back to the downside, another little capitulatory long, but this is not actually capitulation if you ask me, because the range is not 2 times the range. It's also not as big volume candles as the open or higher than that. It is a little bit more volume than the last few volumes that it's had, but it's not, you technically you can bottom hunt this if you try, but this is not really something that you want to try, because that could easily break, and with how illiquid the stock was, it could open up against you very quickly, and you would just be on your knees at that point, right? So you never want to be on your knees. SMCI, finally some good news coming out for SMCI. I need some water, my throat hurts. Is my mic even working? Have I been talking this whole time with my mic not working? Okay, good. SMCI bounced off the $30 area. Let's go to the big chart. Bounced off the $30 area right off the opening drive. I took the 2-minute bar high break. Where was it? Right here. I took the 2-minute bar high break, which was also today's open. I guess that was the wrong idea to do, right? Clearly the wrong idea to do. It wasn't even the 5-minute opening range breakout, I guess you could say. If you actually go to the 5-minute chart, you can see how the first 5 minutes form like that, right? The first 5-minute candle. And then if you actually take the opening range 5-minute break later on, wait, what the hell? That's not today. Here we go. I was gonna say that's not today. So that's the opening range 5-minute candle. Ooh, you would have gone wiped out. Exactly, which happened to me. I guess either way you would have gone wiped out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breakout fails and it nosedives. Yeah, so the opening range 5-minute candle actually fucks you over. It breaks below 30 at that point and then bounces back through 30. But off the open, you can see how right there, $30.23, stock bounces off of that news VWAP, off of the intraday VWAP, and then gets below 30, shakes the buyers a little bit, puts the buyers into a little bit of a scary territory. But look at that candle. Oof, nice volume candle coming in, putting in a bottom, and this is, oof, my Bale Puri is coming out of me right now. It wants to come out of my mouth. Here, let's take a look at the 2-minute candle over there, right? Nice little volume spike, putting in the bottom above yesterday's high, and technically you could have gone long right there and put your stop under yesterday's high if you want to open up some win rate probability, but that means you take less size. But if you want to risk 2 cents below today's low, how potentially, what's their name again, SMB Capital does it, then maybe you can do that with how it bottomed out in this area. But I think the better stop honestly is 29.45 or below 29.45. At that point there's just no more long. If the stock is getting below 29.45 and staying weak below 29.45, something like that, then there is just no more longs on that name. So now you cover the whole scenario, just in case where the stock goes over here and then runs to the upside. You don't get ticked out, and then you don't take a little loss and have to think about getting back in and so on. So I think that's the right stop area for that trade. Gives you a nice 9 EMA VWAP cross right around 10 o'clock also. I think it's right around 10. Yeah, exactly at 10 o'clock. Gives you a 9 EMA VWAP cross on the 2-minute. And that gives you a monster run up, because if you actually look at where your stop would have been at that moment, we have a 50-cent low. Your entry would have been here. 50 cent basically means your stop is 25 cents. Your stop is 25 cents, and you're making way more than 25 cents on that trade. If you trail it by 2 bars, you are basically getting $2.17. So just think about the risk to reward potential on that play right there. You're risking 25 cents, and that's not even actually true, because you're supposed to be risking 1/3 of the range. So if the range is 50 cents, you're risking less than 25 cents. But I'm just giving it 50% of the range to kind of just make it easy on the quick math side, right? So 25 cents risk, and you're getting a $2 reward. Like, come on. SMCI, monster move. Sadly, yeah, no, I did not take that one. Yeesh. Sadly, did not take that one. And that should be it. No, there is another one. Spotify, day 2 trade, pops to the upside, gets above yesterday's high, kind of trying to hold above yesterday's high, but doesn't really do so successfully, breaks down, and then has the 9 EMA cross over here. So that's when I get short. And if you calculate your stop is $9 higher. So technically my stop should be what, $3.5, $4 higher from where I entered. So my stop was above $624. Look at what the top was on this move, 623.80. Look at what the top on this move was, 623.99. I was 1 penny away from getting stopped out on this move. Let's kind of rewind the scale back a little bit. Look at this chart over here on this candle. It breaks under once I get short. It actually gets below that little range hold of 618. Dives into 615. My profit take target was 612. So I'm thinking, okay, it's gonna easily give me my profit target and I'm gonna look like an absolute genius. But I see the stock bounce right back and hold in this area a little bit more. I see it pop and then reject. I'm thinking, okay, this is the move where it's actually start going to go or create a lower high, lower low in this area and start trickling to the downside. It did not do that. This is when I was questioning, maybe I get out of the trade. I can get out for a flat trade. I can get out for a $2 winner. Why am I still holding it? This position over here is no longer valid after this pop, and especially not valid after this pop. So when the stock goes into my stop and doesn't stop me out and comes back to my break even, I should potentially be thinking about getting out for break even, but no. What do I think? I'm thinking, oh my goodness. Okay, we got saved by the bell. The stock did not break my stop, so potentially I am correct. And I think this is going to now go absolutely plummet to the downside mode as it has now, rejected yesterday's high on the pop and then pulled back into these range lows, and it might just break the range low. But guess what? It did not. It did not break the range low. I still had plenty of opportunities to take profit, to get out for flat. I was being ignorant. I was being moody. I just said, nope, I don't care. I'll let it stop me out. Retarded, right? Stupid. I said I'll let it stop me out, and I moved my stop a little bit higher than yesterday's close. Yesterday's close 621.77. I put my stop at 622. Guess what? It triggered and I got stopped out. Right? So plenty of time for me to take profits on this. Plenty of time for me to get out for break even on this. I let my emotions dictate how I wanted to trade this position. Don't do that. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is all she wrote for the trades today. Like I said, you're not going to enjoy what I have to show you. You're not going to like what I have to show you. But the day was good. The day was great. The day was good. The day was great. It was great. All right, let's stop being Tony the Tiger and go into the market. Let's show you guys what's in store for today's watch list. Some of the earnings names over here, as you can quickly take a look at the board. Ford, Qualcomm, ARM, Symbiotic, Viking Therapeutics. Do we really care about VKTX? I know VKTX got slammed to the downside not too long ago and actually broke down a nice solid level where I shorted the name. I remember shorting this name on that breakdown. So good short opportunity on the daily chart, but reporting earnings tomorrow, potentially worth keeping an eye on. Maybe I should not ignore it. Actually, did they report today after hours? I think they reported after hours, so potentially should keep an eye on it. 18% a short float, almost a $4 billion company, and 107 million shares for the stock. So reported after hours and a little bit of a drop with a slight volume, yeah, for sure. Maybe worth keeping an eye on it. Potential fails on pops to get short into. Especially if the stock stays below 30 on every pop. You're basically playing under over 30. Let me just put it on my watch list. VKTX. resistance 30. Is it 30.50 or 33? What was that number? 30.50. So looking for the stock to not find any buying above 30. It's already a little bit below 30 in the after hours. Where are we right now? It is exactly around 30 in the after hours. So expecting the stock to find a little bit of a resistance barrier around this area. Last month's low to yesterday's low, which will no longer be relevant tomorrow. Maybe it will be, but yeah, 30.50 to $31. We'll see how the stock finds in that area. If it starts holding above 30.50 even after the reject in the after hours on the earnings report, you might not want to be shorting that name. So basically, put it in your notes if you're watching it. If stock above 30.50, no shorts. No shorts. Okay. QComp. I mean, I have Ford here. Let's talk about Ford, but I don't really like trading Ford. Ford is so boring. It's like a $9 name. Like, moves 50 cents in a day. Boring. Who cares? ATR is like 30 cents. Less than 50 cents in a day. So I'm not even like excited to talk about Ford for tomorrow, but let's go take a look at the earnings report, because I know some of you might be interested in trading Ford. Buy breakouts, don't wait to see if they hold. Buy breakouts, don't wait to see if they hold. Okay. Correction, Ford Motors. Okay, that's not the report. That's the report. Details. Ford reported 39 cents per share, beating estimates of 33. Ford for 48.2 billion versus 43.25 estimates. Ford blew 101.9 billion as positive net pricing offsets. Okay. Ford Model E reported a full year loss of 5.1 billion. Ford Pro generated 9 billion. Ford Credit reported a full year earnings of 1.7 billion, an increase of 323 million. This is a margin, that's a loss, that's a flat. But you grew quarter to quarter, however, or year over year, I guess. Oh, no, sorry, you beat estimates on the quarter. That's what I'm trying to say. Thank God. I was confused in what I was trying to say myself. Our product portfolios offer, okay, I don't care about that. I want to see the outlook. Ford sees full year 2025 adjusted EBITDA in the range of 7 to 8.5 billion, 3.5 to 4.5 billion in capital spending in the range of 8 to 9 billion. I guess the market just did not like these numbers over here. I want to see if they're growing year to year. So for that, we might have to use some of my other resources at hand. So FORD, let's go take a look at your financials. 4%. Wait, is that today's number? Wait, this is annually. There we go. Quarterly. Revenue 43. That's not the number I'm looking for, is it? So the last one was 43 and you reported 48. So that's actually a growth. They actually grew year over year. If that's the right number. If they're reporting Q4, it should be Q4. Yeah, reported Q4. Q3 was 43 billion and they reported 48 billion. That's growth. That looks good to me on Ford side. So, however, the EV names, I guess, or the EV sector, tariffs. I'm forgetting tariffs. Tariffs potentially shaking things up on Ford in the future too. Ford and GM both took a little bit of a dive when Trump and tariff news started hitting the news wires pretty drastically. GM actually gave you a really good trade off that tariff news. I'm trying to see if I can find it. Where was it? Maybe it was this day when the tariff news got announced, but I can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember. Anyways, GM, Ford, all the car companies taking a little bit of a company. F might offer some crazy RR scalps if have some setups and can read tape. I think CEO is complaining about tariffs. Hey, there you go. Valhalla said exactly what the tariffs was. The deal, what I think why the stock might have plummeted to the downside. I almost forgot about tariffs. GM was a pretty good trade opportunity if I remember. Yeah, I'm not. It's gonna stay on my watch list. I just don't get too excited looking at these 30 cent stocks, 30 cent stocks. But like you said, you can get big risk to reward with the amount of liquidity that Ford could potentially offer you. You might not even have to risk 5 pennies, maybe 1-2 pennies, and then you end up getting 30-40 pennies of reward, maybe even $1 if things end up in your favor. So that could give you a 10 or 50 winner sometimes on stocks like these. So for sure on watch, no doubt about that. You can see how last month's low 950 is just kind of basing around that. Earnings VWAP is around 950 also. So expecting this area to basically be the pivot under over tomorrow. But pre-market will be obviously a pretty good dictator of seeing how the stock behaves. Qualcomm going to the downside also. Wow, looks like the report was good though. Qualcomm going down is not a good thing. Oh yeah, ARM reported today too. And I'm seeing ARM went down 6%. Yeesh. Okay, we're gonna have to read ARM's report also. Qualcomm, what did Qualcomm go down by? Qualcomm went down by like 4 or 5%. Okay, goddamn. Qualcomm reported 11 billion, up 17% year over year. See, I love it when Benzinga actually puts that number in their report for me to read and not have to make me work for the report. Where did my report go? Hello? I was just reading the report. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. I think I scrolled away from it. Reported 17% year over year. Revenue totaled beat street consensus of 10.93 billion. Company reported first quarter of 3.41 versus 2.96. QCT 10.1 up 20%. Handsets up 13%. Automotive up 61%. Internet of Things up 36%. Why did we get sold off then? Segment revenue of 5%, QTL that is. We are pleased to have achieved quarterly revenue record with reflect the strength of the technology, roadmap, and them. Okay, all things are just good. I'm just sad that you didn't say anything about AI or quantum computing. The buzzwords. I want to see the buzzwords, and I guess that's why the market did not like what they saw in this report. No buzzwords, no buy. Revenue guidance breaks down QCT 8.9 to 9.5, QTL 1.25 to 1.45, so that's the guidance, and they just reported, ooh, that looks like a drop, right? That's a drop. So 10.1, and so quarter to quarter they are going to be dropping a little bit, but however year to year I'm gonna have to go through stockanalyst.com and actually see those numbers to compare it at that point. Analysts are guiding for second quarter revenue to be between 10.34, I guess just at to be 10.34. What are they expecting though? The company is guiding second quarter earnings per share 2.7 to 2.9 versus 2.69, so that's a beat. We are delivering growth across our diversification. 22 billion 2029 targets, achieve 22 billion by 2029. Is that their target of non-handset revenue? Okay, gotcha. Handset being like cell phones and so on. Qualcomm stock is trading, however, at 1.64% higher. That's false. Stock, however, did go down. Up 21% year over year. That should be a little bit lower now. 21% year over year is not bad. Is that really 21%? From 2023 or 2024. Was up 73%, but yeah, it's up around 21% or so. Not bad, but yeah, it did pop, but a sell-off right after. Potential conference call comments, not sure what exactly caused this drop over here. Might need to do a little bit more research on that side, but look, it's a it's a semiconductor company. I'm not expecting too much downside when they report growth. Right, they're not like reporting revenue losses, but you could say the same thing about AMD, and AMD got destroyed today, right? AMD got absolutely slammed to the downside on the earnings report, and AMD it did give you a beautiful long, don't get me wrong, but AMD got absolutely destroyed off the earnings report. So you want to be careful for the shorts, in my opinion, but it is possible. It is possible. What's QCOM? QCOM. QCOM. There you go. QCOM ticker. Nice little daily high, also a little bit higher, just above this little area. We got another high into 181, potentially worth keeping an eye on, especially if the stock does manage to bounce and go back into these ranges high. So I'm guessing right now we're at 160s, right around last week's low, because that's what I saw on a quick glance. So yeah, on a quick glance, we're right around last week's low, which is around 160 or so. If this gets below 167, clearly there's no more longs at that point, right? Just no more longs for me to be interested if the stock is trading below this area. But if it's actually holding above this area, I might be interested to look for a long for a move back into these ranges. But you could also look at this as a whole no man's land zone on the daily. You want to see the stock breaking this low with some volatility and some volume to be interested, or you might want to see some action in this area to be interested instead. So the priority on this name will be a little bit lower tomorrow, but for sure on the watch list without a doubt. Not sure. I guess I could put in 167 to keep on the watch for support, and I could throw in 170 to 175 to 177 as a resistance pocket, because that's 175, that's 177, so right around that. And then above that we got 180 to 181 to keep an eye out for. Now the report was not bad. So is it wrong expecting the stock to hold 167 and get into 177? I don't think so. Only time will tell. Only time will tell. QCOM, the next one on my watch list. We got some comments over here. Valahal coming in and saying SWKS think they lost the part of Apple business and QCOM got hit around the same time because they work for similar parts. I need to dig deeper. That's actually great comments. Great comments. Skyworks, SWKS, I always forget their ticker. Skyworks losing some money because of Apple. They also reported, eh? Okay. Skyworks also reporting to the downside. Why did I just put on the earnings VWAP? It was already plotted for me. I did not have this one on my watch list, but it gets added now. SWKS, thank you, Val, for putting that on my radar. And that is now on there. Where did we drop to? Did it go to 81.50s? Let's go back into the 5-minute chart. Well below 81.50s. Oh my god. We are into $64 over here. I don't know why I opened that. I thought I could see how big of a drop that was in the after hours. Here we go. That's about a 30% drop, ending up around 21%. Earnings VWAP around $70. So potentially using that as an inflection level to see how stock might react around that pocket just above 70. I guess not above 70, just at 70. You got the reject on the after hour pop, so around 70 to earnings VWAP, which is at 69. I'm just gonna round that up to 70. Also, will be interesting to see if the stock will reject around that, potentially opens around the after hour low, or open trades around here, pops into the after hour low, and then I can actually imagine this. I can visualize this pretty clearly. We do something like this in the pre-market. Off the open, plummets, holds that low pretty clearly, and then I get the 9 EMA VWAP retracement. Phew! Maybe not like that, but then I get the 9 EMA VWAP retracement back into $70 from $62 or so. So I'm looking for something like this as a setup. That is potentially like that. I shouldn't be drawing a straight line chart up there, because then my expectations will be whack, way out of whack. So I'm expecting something like this coming into play tomorrow. A little bit of a sideways action and pre-market, a nosedive off the open, a bounce or a consolidation into the after hour low, a reclaim of today's VWAP, and then a nice little move back into $30. So Skyworks, we'll see how that sets up tomorrow. Obviously on watch. Let's quickly read a couple numbers about them too. Are they growing? Are they struggling? What's going on these guys? Estimate is what the heck am I reading? Okay, sorry. I was like only by 1%. Yeah, this is an automatic short, but that's only for the EPS. Ooh, they are decreasing. Quarterly sales decreased by 9% year over year. So that is a worthy of a short if you ask me. So obviously the news of them missing out on Apple or losing a part of the Apple deal. Apple already struggling to sell in China. Apple getting probed by China for app deals and so on. So all kinds of things already happening with Apple as it is. I know a lot of people personally changing from Apple into Android, people shifting over from Apple to Android devices. So obviously if Skyworks is part of Apple, they're gonna take a beating on that side too. Look at that, buzzwords: AI, automotive, you know, the right words to be using. This is what Qualcomm should be learning a thing or two from Skyworks over here. Sadly, no matter how big of a buzzword you use, if you are reporting decline year over year, that's not gonna help you out on the report or on the stock. I mean, that's not gonna help you on the stock. So at the time of the report, stock fell by 9.2%, and what a move! What a move! Was at $96 at the time of publication, and now at $60. Oh my god, what a paper cut or haircut. Sorry, paper cut. What paper cut? Prad, what's wrong with you? What a haircut on the stock. My goodness. Where is the 200-day moving average on this name? Moving averages. Where's my moving averages? Oh, they're all up here, eh? Yeesh. Is this an episodic pivot to the downside? This might just be an episodic pivot to the downside. Onks only go up. I guess not. Not always. Not always. SKWS. What's your PE, mate? What? SWKS? Thank you. What's your PE? 13 forward and current PE 23. Tomorrow's PE 10. Tomorrow PE 5. This PE is gonna be 5 tomorrow in pre-market. Holy shit! I mean, look, it's hard to fight a stock with such low PE, who makes semiconductors, who previously have worked with Apple, right? It's like, yeah, they lost the Apple deal, but it's not like they're going bankrupt. Well, it could be. They're gonna lose a lot of money with the Apple deal. So honestly, this could be an episodic pivot, right? The stock is reporting decrease. They're losing deals. That's a big drop. So there is technically no longs unless it's a real setup that you can find for a long. Ideally, you want to be looking for shorts to pop into. So any pops to short into. How? Pops to short into, not shorts to pop into. But you can do that too. You can do whatever you want, right? You're the boss of your own domain. Do whatever the fuck you want. So look for shorts on pops, especially if the stock can find some rejection into 30. But I guess, like I said, there's still this long here. I'm still envisioning this long because stonks only go up, ladies and gentlemen. Stonks only go up. All right, we are only what 3-4 down the watch list, and it's already 8:42. So let's quickly go through some of the other big hitters over here. Thankfully, you know, some of the other names we don't have to read, or I don't have to read earnings reports on them, so I don't have to struggle on that side. But we have to quickly go through these charts here. So let's read ARM. ARM coming in at, that's 3 semiconductors in one day. Boy, oh boy, do we just trade SMH tomorrow? Just short SMH tomorrow. Like, why even trade any of these? All of them are down. All of them are not struggling, but all of them are struggling in the chart sense. Just trade semiconductor ETF on the day. But the logic doesn't really add up because Nvidia is like the big dog in the semiconductor, right? If Nvidia is big green and all of these are red, the ETF could just basically stay flat. AVGO is also a big dog. ARM, in the market share sense, not just in the market capitalization, but the market share that they have of semiconductors, ARM is also a very, very big dog. Okay. Reported 383 million. Not even a billion. You don't even make $1 billion a quarter. Short. Short. You're not a big dog in any sense. Who said ARM's a big dog? You don't even make $1 billion a quarter? You're garbage. Wow. Okay. 383 million compared to 346 million. Chip designer 39 cents per share versus 34. You don't even make $1 per share? Garbage. Total revenue up 19% year over year, driven by record loyalty, blah 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 blah. Royalty revenue up 23%. Annualized contract value up 9%. ARM said free cash flow is 349 million. ARM delivered record third quarter revenue driven by continued strong adoption of their chips. With our high performance, energy efficient, flexible technology, ARM is a key enabler in advancing AI. And okay, buzzwords, guidance. ARM expects fourth quarter revenue of 1.175 billion to 1.275. Finally, I'm seeing a billion with the B, baby. The company anticipates fourth quarter adjusted earnings between 48. Okay, that's a little bit better. Now I can't complain. Now I can't complain. Now you're showing me $1 billion. You're getting closer to $1. Now I can't complain. ARM also narrowed its full year guidance. Narrowed, that's not the right word to see. Company now expects full year revenue of 3.94 to 4.04 billion and full year adjusted earnings of 1.56 to 1.64. I wish they threw in the numbers of what the previous guidance was before they narrowed it, because then you can compare the data points and use that as a potential trading signal. But no, you have to do your own research. Damn it, Benzinga, why do I pay you for? But that's a lie. I don't even pay for Benzinga. Benzinga pays me. So if you're interested in Benzinga, this awesome tool that I complain about quite a bit, I don't know why, because it's absolutely free for me. But if you're interested in this software, go check out my affiliate sponsors, Flash Research, Trade Ideas, TraderSync, and Benzinga Pro. Get 10% off or 15% off on TraderSync and Trade Ideas if you use code PRAD15. But if you want to use Flash Research or Benzinga, click on my link to get 10% off. Okay, coming back, looks like we basically read the report for the most part. ARM also so it narrowed the guidance for the full year. That might have been a little bit of a signal fire to the downside, the fire starter to the downside. But for the most part, if you actually look at it, the stock held above yesterday's VWAP. Not that yesterday was day one or anything, but the stock got pummeled to the downside and just basically held yesterday's VWAP, showing you that the buyer from yesterday and potentially the buyer from today too, because the stock did manage to go higher, is still continuing to buy at the moment above 155, 156 or so, and that seems to be the trend of the stock. So as long as the stock continues to stay above some of these levels, there could be a long setting up that is not, the report does not scream short to me. They're still growing, they're making money, revenues flowing in, and the growth is still expected. Let me quickly go see what the PE ratio of ARM is. Now that's crazy. Short, I'm back. I'm flip-flopping to the short again. Now PE is crazy on ARM. 286 times their earnings value. So yeah, not really something that you want to be potentially longing at that point. But 99%, I don't know if that's a real number. Someone on the Twitter internet spaces, they said 90% of phones have ARM chips in them. And if that's the case, that's a big market share of phones that they own. That's a big market share of phones that they own. So report not bad, growth, everything looks good. I just don't see a short in these areas. Look at the amount of fighting the stock has had in this area. I just don't see a short. It needs to get below 140 for me to even be excited on that short. Is that happening tomorrow? I don't think so. I don't think that's happening tomorrow. So for the most part, I might not even be interested if the stock is getting sold off. I might just look for a patient long, look for some sort of a capitulation or a reversal later on in the day. Or if the reversal fails, I might then short the pop at VWAP. right? I don't have to fight for the long off the open just because my bias and me reading the report makes me a little bit of an analyst, even though yesterday I said you're not an analyst, you're a trader, right? You're not an analyst, you're a trader. And that's where some of these reading earnings reports end up being a double-edged sword when you're you know, starting to trade, because you're like, oh, the market's selling the stock off, but I'm thinking the report's good and I'm gonna go long. That's how you get hurt. That's when you try to impose your will on the market and the market clearly tells you, hey, idiot, you're wrong, right? So you got to be careful. Sometimes the best thing to do at that point, if you are biased, is to just simply not trade it. If your setups are not setting up on the stock in alignment of your bias, don't trade it. You don't have to trade that name. There's a million other stocks. Maybe not a million. There's like, what, 10,000 stocks out there? I don't even know what the real number is. There's at least 3,000 other stocks out there that you can go look for a setup and not have to trade ARM tomorrow. So that's kind of my mentality on that name tomorrow. SYM, another one that reported. Quickly just want to see if they grew or not. Looks like I can't see any of that. Missed EPS, looks like for the most part. Tanked in the Q1. Outlook is now coming in at 510 to 530 versus 535. That's a miss, and the stock dropped by 11%. So everything is just selling off today on the earnings report basket. Yikes. Big moves to the downside on every single earnings name. This one went from $31 to $25. Wowza. So watching for pops. Ideally, this one should not get back above 27 tomorrow. If Symbiotic gets above 27, there's just no more shorts for me. But as long as the stock pops and fails anywhere below 27, I might look for a short. So I'm looking for shorts on pops. As long as stock pops. Okay. Uber reported today. Little bit of a flush on Uber, looking like it wants to break below some of these ranges. Keep an eye on Uber, potentially worth as a trade opportunity. But look, there's no real competition to Uber besides themselves at the moment. Yeah, Tesla is going to rival them if you know, the full self-driving actually takes off. But until then, there's no rival for Uber, especially in Canada and USA. You might say Lyft is a competitor, but are we saying Lyft is a competitor? So watching how Uber sets up for some trade opportunities. Disney got slammed back down. I thought the report was good. I'll be honest, I didn't look at Disney today at all. Disney got slammed back down over here. Still green on the day, I think. No, red on the day. Yeesh. Red on the day for Disney, and that's a solid reject, if you ask me, of this high. Wow, monster reject of that high, and turning itself from green to red, all because Disney subscriber growth was not as good as Netflix. So Netflix taking back all the market share that it once lost and took itself back to the $1,000 area. And Disney's earnings report potentially helped Netflix go higher today. That's actually genius. Why am I thinking about this now and not at the time when I read the report? I don't know, don't ask me, but that is actually you know, a good reason to look for a potential long on Netflix. And what did Netflix do? Gave you the perfect opening range breakout and ran. You see how the opening range breakout lined up with yesterday's close, yesterday's VWAP, last week's high, and the opening range breakout. Also technically opening range breakouts up here, but you can where is this? Draw a trend line, something like that. That's not a trend line, Prad. Draw a trend line, something like that, and boom, that trend line break matching with that yesterday's VWAP, matching with last week's high, matching with yesterday's close, matching with Disney's thesis, higher low, higher low, higher low, trading around VWAP, choppy around VWAP, and then boom, breakout into a new all-time high. So that is a monster trade over there on Netflix off of Disney's back. So missing out on that one. I did see Netflix go up today. I did not think about this until now. So that's stupid. That's stupid of me. But yeah, Disney getting slammed back down because of their subscriber growth. But overall, I think Disney has done fairly well on all other aspects. So not sure how much weakness is really there in this position, potentially going back into the zone and buying again. So you might want to be a little careful fighting the shorts into the downside into this area. On pops, if the stock is clearly finding selling on pops, go short. Who's stopping you, right? Go short. But pressing down into these areas will be kind of stupidity. Unless the stock is trading below 106, then there's a no-brainer short at that point. No-brainer short if it's trading below 106. NVO, how did you trade today? NVO stuck in a range, not really too interested. You could potentially put an alert on both sides. Had a pop today off its earnings report, but because of Robert Kennedy, because of other companies coming in and disturbing their little space of GLP-1, which is the Ozempic drug, other companies coming in and kind of shaking up the industry with cheaper alternatives, such as Hims, for example. Hims with the monster run into all-time highs, because they also are doing something very similar. And I think Eli Lilly is also one of them, if I remember correctly. So obviously NVO potentially not as bullish from the report itself, because if it was, I would have probably seen it go much higher. So I might not even put it on my report tomorrow. Might just set some alerts and then move on this name. Set an alert there, set an alert. God, my throat is so dry today. Skywork changed CEO 3 hours ago and now down 19% after hours. Did they change CEOs like intraday or something? That's crazy. Oh, you're saying they changed CEOs after hours? Did they change CEOs after hours while reporting? Like 3 hours from now. Wait, when did you even write that comment? I can't even see the timestamp, but I'm guessing you put that comment when we were talking about SWKS, which was right around 8:30-ish. 3 hours from now, 7:65, so right around after hours. Yeah, like they changed CEOs and that's what caused this big candle? Wow, that's crazy if that's true. Crazy if true. IVVD. Yeah, I had a short on this name on day one. I had the short on this stock on day one. Let me go to a browser and try to find that chart for us. How do I search for my profile? What the fuck? There we go. I thought I had a short. No, I actually had the high day long. Actually had the high day long on this day. IVVD. This was under 70 cents that day. Under 70 cents, or under $1, I should say. It was under $1 that day, and now it's at $2 goddamn dollars in the after hours. $3 in the after hours. Yeah, gotta keep an eye on this one. Gotta keep an eye on this one. Potential mean reversion setting up. Mean reversion possibilities, but you know, they had good news. So, you know, could be episodic. You just got to be careful. However, this is a little too fast, too quick, euphoric, too fast, too quick. So, you know, looking for mean reversion might not be the worst thing, but keep in mind it's a small cap, right? It's a small cap. They could be playing games, and if they are, you want to make sure that you are not getting gamed with them. 8% short float, 75 million float, 250 million market cap. I'm going to be patient for capitulation, and if I miss it, so be it. Yes, sir. You are 100% right. Capitulation to the upside, hopefully. And yeah, we want to be able to smack this. Because look, every single time you get a big volume spike, doesn't really sell off. It just consolidates and pops. So you don't want to get caught in something like this. You want a little bit more room. The higher the stock goes tomorrow, the better. What is that purple line? Is that purple yearly? Okay, it is. So 2024 anchored VWAP is around $2. I'm just throwing that out there. You do what you want with that. 2024 anchored VWAP is around $2. And that is 2023 anchored VWAP around $250, $260. That's the 2022 anchored VWAP around $5. And you can see how when the stock made the pop and the run up, what did it reject from? Oh, surprise! Right? So I wouldn't be surprised if it has some trouble here. But it's not like a horizontal level. This is now a horizontal level because of that technical level, but this is not a horizontal level until it actually becomes one. So we'll see if there's some selling in this area that comes into play. Keep in mind the stock is already above this area. It's actually into $3 and higher than $3 tomorrow right now. So very easily could go to that $5 and then give you a short setup exactly like this was. So be a little patient, right? You don't have to force the trade. The higher it goes, the better it is. I might even want to put this as a purple level for myself because that is a high priority for tomorrow. Let's go to ACB. It's already 9 o'clock. I haven't had my dinner yet, and I still got 10 more stocks to go for you guys. Okay, ACB. Let's take a look at. We might be live till 10 o'clock today. Might just be live for 10 o'clock. ACB looking pretty good above $5 if you ask me. If the stock dips and holds above 5, I don't see why it's not a long. So that area is what? That area is 470 to 485. That's the zone that I just marked based on previous days levels. And the stock clearly got above it, kind of dipped and held into it off the open. Actually, let's go to the 1 minute chart, study the action here. Dipped off the open, held that area, and then kind of broke out of that zone and just, wow, what a monster breakout of that zone. Come on now, pre-market high, zone, everything matches, gives you a beautiful long to the upside. So as long as if dips into that area, you can see how earnings VWAP is also right around $5. I think it's worth keeping an eye on ACB, potential upside coming into play after a nice earnings report. Big volume candle today too, so potential day 2 opportunity setting up on ACB. AMD day 2 opportunities potentially. Let's keep an eye on it. AMD, you know, sadly the report is not being loved. They also are growing and they reported more growth incoming, but the stock market just did not like anything that they saw from it and sold it off last night. However, today, intraday, they did like it and they popped it back higher. So let's go. That's what I like to see on AMD. Google, a little bit of a downside. I can't remember if YouTube numbers were down. I don't think YouTube numbers were down. But overall, the stock price was down. We'll see if that is going to be the story on this name tomorrow. Most likely not even going to care about Google too much. I'll see. I'll see if it's going to set up for some trade. If it does, then yeah, I'll care about it. Snapchat was just ridiculous. If you ask me, Snapchat is a high priority name tomorrow. If it gets below 1040, if the stock is not holding 1040 tomorrow, this is a high priority name tomorrow if we're looking for a short with how it reacted to the earnings report today. Usually, you know, the second day is an inside day candle and not a big candle below 1040. So you know, you might not want to look for a breakdown below 1040, but this daily chart looks amazing too if you ask me. You could basically risk five pennies on this one and end up getting, you know, easily 50 pennies off a move to the downside back into $10 where the previous earnings VWAP is at. Actually, the previous earnings VWAP is at $11, which is also where, oh yeah, that's the previous earnings VWAP. The one before that on the big gap down, that one's right around $10. Okay, CMG, Chipotle, nothing burger. I'm gonna set an alert right into $55. If it breaks below that, then I might care about it. ENPH, what are you looking like? Nothing burger, don't really care too much. EA, it's in the game. Whoa. What the? I guess it was a nothing burger move at the end of the day for a day trade, but that's a nice little pop on EA. I remember EA had some news recently that actually took it lower. What was it? Oh, didn't they guide lower? Yeah. Did EA just kind of scam everybody? EA guided lower, and then they report, and they actually report better than their guidance. What? EA just scammed everybody. All the investors who sold EA is kicking rocks at the moment and is pissed off at EA for doing that. So this is actually a little bit of a funny move if you ask me. Am I interested for a trade tomorrow on this one? Most likely not. I mean, look at the candles on this one. It looks absolutely dead. If this 124 area holds, there could be a move back into today's high. There could be also a gap close over here. So it is on my watch list. I'm not going to completely ignore it. It is on my watch list, but the priority is much lower on this one compared to like SWKS or some of the more important names tomorrow. PayPal giving you a nice inside day. This is exactly what I'm expecting on Snapchat tomorrow. A nice little inside day, but if this is not what we get on Snapchat tomorrow and it actually breaks down, I want to play that game. Spotify, is it all-time high? I think it's all-time high. It is all-time high. Spotify does make a new all-time high today, but kind of struggles with it. Might not do anything with this tomorrow. Tomorrow will be day 3 of the earnings report. If it dips into the earnings VWAP and holds, you could look for a long maybe, but the volume is going to be lower than today. It's going to be lower than the day before, so the spread is going to be even worse than the last 2 days tomorrow. So it's just not going to be that high priority of a name, right? If you want to trade a high pricey name with a high ATR, go to Qualcomm. Go to Qualcomm. It has more volume. Hell, even go to Netflix tomorrow or go to Meta, right? It will just have way more volume, a little bit less spready, and liquidity on Meta sucks. Don't get me wrong, but it's still better than what I think Spotify will offer you tomorrow, right? So just put that on the back burner tomorrow. Not really something that's going to be on the front of the watch list. EL breaking below yesterday's low, so day 2 EL is actually weak than day 1. That's surprising. That means potential shorts on pops into 66.50. Earnings VWAP is around $68. So if any reject of 66.50, I think is potentially on watch to see if the stock can go back into 65 and push lower than 65. On the daily chart, looks like the stock could have a little bit of room into $62. So keep an eye out for that move. Ideally want to be shorting pops, not taking breakdowns. So I'm going to put the resistance levels on my watch, 66.50. If that does come into play, I'll keep an eye on it. Did I put EA on my watch list twice? No. Oh, I'm putting this wrong one. That's why. You are at EL, 66.5. 6.5, and I'll give you a little special color just in case you do what I want you to do. Palantir. Do I think Palantir will fill the gap? No. Do I think Palantir should fill the gap? Yes. Do with that information as you please. Do I think Palantir will fill the gap? No. Do I think Palantir should fill the gap? Yes. The valuation is still crazy, right? The valuation is actually even worse than what it was in these ranges. Someone actually posted on Twitter that the amount of times the price that stock trades at compared to how much money they're bringing in is a joke. It's an absolute joke, right? But the market is all about the future and what might happen next. And right now with the whole AI theme and the AI basket, Palantir is situated so well with that whole theme and that whole basket. It already works with the US government. It's working with a bunch of other governments that they can't talk about. Something that Alex Karp actually said, we are in the business of defending our friends, threatening our enemies, and maybe sometimes kill them. He said that in a conference, like in a conference call. I was like, what? What is wrong with this guy? Let's actually go find that real quick. Can we find that most recent conference call ending from this guy? That, unmute that. All right. Go find Twitter. It's probably on x.com at this point. There it is.
Alex, as always, we have a lot of individual investors on the line. Is there anything you'd like to say before we end the call?
We're doing it.
We're doing it.
We're doing it.
We're doing
and
it.
I'm sure you're enjoying it as much as I am. Let's not.
This guy starts his day with a healthy dose of both the most exported Colombian products there is. I'm not going to say which two. I'm sure you know which two. But he starts his day with a full dose of both of them.
Talk to analysts about the burden of being right, our burdens of investing in ontology, our burdens of actually looking at the math, the burden of reading what the rule of 40 is.
What is this quality, dude?
Of being honest about what an enterprise software company is, or the burden of explaining to your friends that you're really happy. Maybe we should just stop talking about it. I'm very happy to have you along for the journey. And you are
looks like me. You know what? He's a goddamn genius. I appreciate it.
Everyone else who's listening, we are dedicating our company. We have dedicated our company to the service of the West and the United States of America, and we're super proud of the role we play, especially in places we can't talk about. And we love our success in the U.S. and globally. Also, you know, we are doing in the United Kingdom and many other places. Palantir is here to disrupt and make the institutions we partner with the very best in the world, and when it's necessary, to scare enemies and on occasion kill them.
On occasion kill them!
In favor of that?
We are in the business of scaring our enemies and on occasion kill them.
Enemies and on occasion kill them. And we hope you're in favor of that. We hope you're enjoying being a part of it, and we're really happy.
Now that is Palantir in a nutshell. So, America, baby. America. Palantir. The only reason I'm going to hate on Palantir, well, I have two reasons to hate on Palantir. The first reason is because I once owned the stock at $11. I once owned the stock at $11. Where was it? Right here. I owned it at $11. And I took profit at 25. Where's 25? Right here. 25. And now where is it? 100. So that's my first problem with it. Then, my second problem with this stock is they support Ferrari. And I am a big anti-Ferrari guy, even though my man Lewis Hamilton is now a driver for Ferrari, sadly. Still gonna support Mercedes and McLaren till the death of me. My McLaren is sitting right there on that table. It's always there. I love that McLaren. But I gotta support Lewis Hamilton. Not the team, but I'll support Lewis Hamilton. And that's part of the reason why I don't like Palantir anymore. Palantir supports Ferrari. I don't want to own them anymore. Fuck Palantir. Nah, that's just me being salty for not owning them and watching it go without me. Me being salty. As for a trade tomorrow, I don't think it's going to gap fill. But look, if the stock is breaking down below 99, you'd be an idiot not to look short on that name. So watch for how 99 plays tomorrow on the downside. Some of the large cap names that I always have on watch: Amazon, Nvidia, Tesla, ooh, nice pop on Nvidia, potentially getting destroyed tomorrow with the rest of the stocks. This is actually getting ready. My alert is going to trigger tomorrow most likely. This is setting up very, very much. Yeah, I like this. You want to be ready for this one. This one breaks down. You want to size potentially really well on this and look for the move below. 370 is like a next even dollar area that I'll just kind of keep a quick mental note of. But if we blow through that, that's a good short opportunity on Tesla. My alert will most likely trigger in pre-market, and the stock potentially already below 370 in pre-market. If you ask me like what I'm thinking about. So potentially opening below 370 in the pre-market, and then on pops into 370, that's when you're looking for a short on Tesla. So let's see if this consolidation breakdown sets up tomorrow for us. Some crypto names over here potentially keep an eye on. MicroStrategy still not going into that 357 and above area. Looks like a seller is just going to keep selling into that zone at the moment, but not really too interested in trading the cryptocurrency basket at the moment. Coinbase does look like a good breakdown coming in very soon, but yeah, I don't care. I don't give a fuck. Not in play. Don't really care. Unless Bitcoin does something crazy, I'm not really going to make a execution on the Coinbase and the Bitcoins and the MSTRs. So I'm just going to have them on my watch list, but I'm not going to give them too much effort at all. Going into the last few things we want to do here, we want to go find out about the IPOs tomorrow. So I already did that for you guys. We have, oh, big IPO coming in. SailPoint, what the heck is that? SailPoint Parent LP, 50 million shares being offered, $1 billion company. Okay, IPO season is back with Trump, ladies and gentlemen. I like it. However, tomorrow, nope, I want tomorrow. Tomorrow, there we go. Tomorrow we got a couple IPOs, only two that I care about. TTAM on the New York market, SION on the NASDAQ market. Both of them are okay deal amounts. One of them is $500 million, $500 million. The other one's around $250 million. 24 million shares offered, 8 million shares offered, and around the same price zones for both of them. But I want to see more about what these companies actually do. So TTAM, what do you do? Okay, that's obvious. You are a building and product equipment industrials company. You have 2,700 employees. Bill Zarkalis, not that it matters, a Belgium company. Okay, founded in 1902, much older than me. Titan American is a leading vertically integrated multi-regional manufacturer and supplier of heavy building materials and services operating primarily on the eastern seaboard of the United States. Our manufacturer, logistics, and customer. What the hell do you do? I don't even understand what the fuck that means. I just read it, but I don't even know what it means. Multi-regional manufacturer and supplier of heavy building materials. Okay, gotcha. Our manufacturing, logistics, and customer support capabilities span across critical building materials and products, including cement and supplementary cementitious materials. Okay, aggregates, ready mixed concrete blocks, and other ancillary, is that how you say that? Ancillary products. I don't even know what that word means, dude. We are leading provider of heavy building materials in Florida, the New York, New Jersey metropolitan area, Virginia, North Carolina, and South Carolina. A Belgium company? This is a automatic short, if you ask me, because Trump's not going to let this shit pass through anymore, especially not in New York. That's his home ground. Well, I guess his home ground now is Mar-a-Lago, but you get what I'm hinting at. But let's keep an eye on it, right? Keep an eye on it. Do they make money? $3 billion company. They do make money. PE of $17. I always say dollars, I don't know why. PE of 17, revenue 1.64 billion. All that short interest numbers will not be available. Let's go see if they're growing year over year. Oh wow, okay. 18% growth in that quarter, or that year, sorry. 16% growth in that year, and the number seems to be still growing, still continuing to grow. Not as much year over year, but still growing at the end of the day. So looking good. TTAM might be a good opportunity to keep an eye on. And the last earnings report, SION, Scion Therapeutics. Okay, automatically biotech, already know it. Don't really need to read too much about it. 28 employees, and all of their names are going to be Michael Clonin, 100%. Sionna Therapeutics is a clinical stage. Yup, I already expect it. It's clinical stage. What do you do? GLP-1? What do you do? Let's see. We are conducting ongoing phase 1 trials. Oh, that's actually not bad. I think phase 1 is the first one. I guess 1 is the obvious answer, or is phase 1 the final one? I always get confused. Phase 1 good, or you know, the one that you want to wait for is after phase 1? Oh, that's phase 1. Okay, phase 1's not bad. Just after clinical. Phase 1 takes 1 to 4 years. Phase 2 and then phase 3. I know you said something about IVVD. Positive phase 1, phase 2 clinical data, strategic partnership with Coach Jim. Okay, price action after hours ran to $3 after hours. So they're in the phase between phase 1 and phase 2. So IVVD potentially changing things a little bit. But these guys are still in phase 1, which is actually better than being in preclinical, right? Preclinical just makes it a little bit worse. They're in the clinical stages. They're doing their researches. They're doing their tests on humans potentially very soon, or I think phase 1's actually on humans instead of lab rats and so on. And going IPO. Do I really want to know what they try to solve? CF? What is CF? Cystic fibrosis. Gotcha. Cystic fibrosis. Nothing with the GLP-1 in their explanation, which actually I'm very happy about, because I'm getting sick and tired of all these companies going public and all they do is basically sell GLP-1s, because like there's already so many of them on the stock market that already do it. It's so saturated, like boring. But yeah, this one is a little bit different. These are the 2 IPOs that we care about tomorrow. The last thing that we want to check for is the econ calendar. What is the economic calendar looking like tomorrow? 8:30 you got the initial jobless claims. Non-pharma productivity also coming out at 8:30, but after that looks pretty dead. It looks pretty dead. You got Fed members talking throughout the day, but besides 8:30, the market doesn't really have too many important time periods that could sway the market back and forth. So you don't have to worry about it intraday. I guess you might have to worry about it a little bit when Fed Waller's speaking, but for the most part, you don't have to worry about it. 8:30 is going to be the time where the market potentially has a big volume spike or flush. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is all she wrote. Quick shout out once again to my sponsors, Flash Research, Trade Ideas, TraderSync, and Benzinga Pro. I'll promise you, you get Flash Research, you're automatically 10% better at trading small caps. And then if you actually put in the work and do the homework, you're a little bit better. Maybe now you're 30% better at trading small caps. So if you're interested in trading small caps, trust me, you want Flash Research, and they just added a scanning capability. I don't want to log into my account right now because my account's logged in on my work computer, so I don't want to have to keep logging out and logging back on. But trust me when I say this, if you want to trade small caps, you want to get this software. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching me. It has been a pleasure. I want to actually mention that tomorrow I will be late. I have a study session in my office tomorrow. A study session in my office with my trader and myself. Why did I say my trader? With a trader in my office, me and my manager. We're gonna stay back, do a study session about how he prepares for stocks after hours and so on. So it's probably gonna take like an hour after work. That means I'm going to get home a little bit later. That doesn't mean I'm not streaming. I'll still stream, but it might just be 8:30, 9 o'clock, because I might get home like 7 o'clock, 7:30. So I need like an hour to wind down, play with my dog, to make the watch list, make the thumbnail, and so on. So I might go live 9 o'clock, 8:30 tomorrow, depending on what time I get home. So make sure you're following the Instagrams, the Twitters, and all that other social media stuff, all on Linktree in the description and in the links in my bio. If you're watching me on Twitter or whatever, all the links are in the Linktree page. Make sure you're following me on those, because that's where I will update you what time I'll go live. So on that note, time to call it a night. Time to play the outro. TraderPrad out. Have a great green day tomorrow. Peace.
for the watch list for tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm gonna bring in my big screen over here, back to another brand new week of After the After Hours with your host TraderPrad. I'm doing great. Hopefully you guys are joining me on that great side. Markets are moving around. Might just be a risk on type of day, so let's see what happens. 8 o'clock tomorrow. As you guys know, we do the stream Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. Shout out to my affiliate sponsors, Benzinga, Trade Ideas, the #1 scanner to go to, Trader Sync, promo code down below, promo code PRAD15 to get 15% off. I will catch you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. Until then, TraderPrad out. Adios.